This was undoubtedly a very difficult video to make because there's a lot of players that you want in the top 10, but there's also some players that you don't really want to leave out. So to make this a little bit more simple and to make my task a little bit easier, this is practically going to be only players from Mancini to Pep Guardiola. Obviously, players like Colin Bell, Summerby, and Franny Lee, players like that would undoubtedly be in the conversation or even be inside the top 10 greatest player list for Manchester City. But it's very difficult to compare players from the past till now. How am I going to compare somebody like Paul Power to Alexander Kolarov? We had players like King Clodsley, all the talent in the world, but he didn't have the team around him. He could have been something special. It's hard to compare. And all I will say is that I looked at player ability relative to your position. Okay, how good you were at your position, longevity, impact to Manchester City and our history, and accolades, both team trophies and individual trophies. I looked at all of those to make my top 10 list. And by the way, this is just my opinion. The list is fluid. It is 100% fluid. We can change it. The following players that just missed out on the top 10. The first two are Erling Haaland and Phil Foden, and that is just because of age. I really wanted to get players who are close to 30 or at least the age of 25 and older. I think it's a little bit disrespectful given the longevity and some other big names that didn't make the cut who actually have a chance to make it onto the top 10. Ruben Diaz and John Stones. Nasri and Zabaleta also didn't make my top 10, and I was really pissed about not including Pablo Zabaleta because he is obviously a fan favorite. We have a song dedicated to him. He is a sensational man and a brilliant pundit. But perhaps the biggest snub out of the top 10, in my opinion, is Riyad Mahrez. I said, ladies and gentlemen, I am including ability of the player relative to the position, or else this list would just all be attackers. But the reason I didn't have Mahrez in the list is because I looked at the other 10 names and I just couldn't take out one of those players. Like I said, this list is fluid. On another given year, in the next couple of years, I may feel differently about this. A large chunk of his greatness as a Premier League icon was due to his amazing season with Leicester City. I am not considering what he did for Leicester City in this top 10. Remember, hat-trick in FA Cup semi-final. Brilliant performance against Paris Saint-Germain. He was exquisite in that Champions League run. In my opinion, the third best right winger of the Premier League era, outside of Cristiano Ronaldo and Mohamed Salah. Again, if you disagree, that is 100% okay. Starting off in 10th place, we have Fernandinho, the unsung hero in Manchester City's midfield, providing the foundation for their attacking brilliance. As a defensive midfielder, his ability to break up opposition attacks, win crucial tackles, and read the game made him indispensable for Pep Guardiola's system. His leadership on the pitch, coupled with his experience and versatility, helped City dominate English football. Whether sitting deep to protect the defense or pushing forward to link play, Fernandinho was a vital cog in the team's success, winning multiple Premier League titles and establishing himself as one of the best in the role in the history of the league. Yes, at 10th place, we are starting with a club legend, club captain who's won, I believe 5 Premier League titles. Again, a defensive midfielder. He was sensational for us, especially in the big moments. You rarely ever think of Fernandinho having a bad game. I don't even remember Fernandinho having a bad season. The only season where he wasn't up to par could have been his last couple of months where he was 36, 37 years old, or the season in which we lost Aymeric Laporte to an ACL injury and we had Eric Garcia and Fernandinho playing center half. Disgusting! He was the ultimate professional, and that game versus Liverpool pretty much cemented his legacy at Manchester City. One of the best performances I have ever seen from a Manchester City player. That is still, to this day, the best Premier League game I have ever watched in my life. The highest quality game I think I've ever seen in the Premier League. The two best teams on planet Earth. He was controlling the play. Fernandinho gets often misplaced by a lot of City fans. Not a lot of City fans, I would say, would put Fernandinho in a top 10 list like this. And I think it's a little bit disrespectful. In 9th place, we have the little T-Rex, Raheem the Dream Sterling, a driving force in Manchester City's attack. Known for his blistering pace, his sharp movements, and clinical finishing. Under Pep Guardiola, Sterling evolved into one of Europe's most dangerous forwards, consistently delivering goals and assists in pivotal moments. His contributions were crucial in City's domestic success, including back-to-back Premier League titles and a historic Centurion season. A key player in City's rise to dominance, Raheem Sterling's legacy is defined by his relentless drive and knack for delivering when it mattered the most. Quite possibly our most disrespected great player of the modern era. Most City fans, when they think of Raheem Sterling, they think of that goal miss versus Lyon. They think of him missing a lot of chances. However, I remember all the good things that he did. Yes, there were times where he frustrated us, but remember that 2018-2019 season, I believe it was 25 goals, 14 assists. He won the quadruple. I believe he was second or third in the Player of the Year voting. And he won Young Player of the Season. Raheem Sterling gets like 15, 20, 25 goals a season, and we slagged him off for that. And some of our wingers none of our wingers have gone anywhere close to that in recent memory, and we praised them. But when Raheem Sterling did it, we slagged him off. I'm going to give him the respect that he deserves for now. And again, I wanted to make this list for players that are closer to the age of 30. Because undeniably, Phil Foden and Erling Haaland will unfortunately displace Raheem Sterling on this list in a couple of years. In 8th place, poetically, we have my uncle, Ilkay Gundogan, the calm and composed maestro who has been pivotal in Manchester City's midfield for years. Known for his exceptional passing range, vision, and ability to control the tempo of a match, Ilkay Gundogan has played a key role in City's success under Pep Guardiola. His intelligence on the ball and knack for scoring crucial goals, especially in tight moments, made him a true all-rounder. From his leadership during key matches to his composed performances in title races, Gundogan's influence on City's journey to dominance is undeniable, earning him place as one of the club's all-time greats. Number 8 is Ilkay Gundogan, and yes, I could have put him a little bit higher up. Yes, he was our treble-winning captain, but again, I used player ability as one of the factors that I considered, and there were some players that were just a little bit better in their position higher up this list. But again, that incredible pandemic season, what was it, 13, 14 goals in like 12, 13 games? Something crazy. He was scoring every single game. Scored a brace against Liverpool, all right? I think it was a brace against Tottenham where he sat down Davinson Sanchez from a pass from Ederson. Obviously, that Derby brace in the FA Cup final, a winning goal to hand us a Premier League title against Aston Villa. Ilkay Gundogan has been there in some of the most pivotal moments. And even if I did this list, including all the legends in the entire history of Manchester City, including Colin Bell, Summerby, Franny Lee, all of those players, Bert Trautmann, obviously, I still think Ilkay Gundogan deserves a place in the top 10 greatest players. In 7th place, we have the little magician, one of the most underrated players in Premier League history, Bernardo Silva, the epitome of versatility and work ethic, a player who combines flair with relentless determination. Whether creating chances, dictating play in midfield, or tirelessly tracking back, Bernardo Silva has been vital to Manchester City's success. His close control, creativity, and knack for scoring in big games makes him a fan favorite. From dazzling dribbles to moments of brilliance in crucial matches, Bernardo's contributions have been instrumental in City's domestic dominance and European breakthroughs. Just like Raheem Sterling in that 2018-2019 season, Bernardo Silva was absolutely unplayable. I believe he was in the team of the season that season, 27 goal involvements in that season, and around 50-51 appearances. He is one of the most gifted players we have ever seen play for our club. Some of the biggest moments in our history, especially that game against Real Madrid. I will never forget his header. I will never forget his header against Bayern München, his header against Real Madrid. I will never forget his winning assist to Rodri in the Champions League final. Bernardo Silva has come up clutch, especially against moments against Arsenal, against Manchester United. Bernardo Silva is silk. In 6th place, we have one of the most dominant midfielders of the 21st century, Yaya Toure, a powerhouse in Manchester City's midfield, combining strength, skill, and an eye for the spectacular. His ability to drive forward with the ball, score breathtaking goals, and dominate games makes him unplayable at his peak. Yaya was instrumental in City's rise, playing a key role in their first Premier League title and delivering such iconic moments. One that undeniably comes to mind is his match-winning goal in the 2011 FA Cup final. A true game changer, Touré's influence on City's success is etched in the club's history as one of its all-time greats. And just above Bernardo Silva is Yaya Touré, team accolades and individual accolades. That season, you already know what I'm talking about. 90% pass accuracy for an entire season, 20 goals and 9 assists in that season, scoring free kick after free kick after free kick like he was Lionel Messi. An absolute powerhouse of a midfielder, 6'2", 6'3" tall. I mean, when he runs, he's an absolute bulldozer. You cannot take the ball off of this guy. So powerful, yet so delicate with his passes. Football has not found its Yaya Touré region. Number 5, we have one of the biggest bargains in Premier League history. Vincent Kompany was more than just a defender. He was the heart and soul of Manchester City during their rise to domination. As a captain, he led with unmatched passion, resilience, and leadership, becoming a symbol of the club's transformation. His towering presence in defense was matched by his knack for delivering in critical moments like his thunderous strike against Leicester City in 2019 that helped secure the Premier League title for the Blues. A 4-time Premier League winner and a true legend of the game, Kompany's legacy at Manchester City will forever be remembered as one of inspiration and greatness. Yep, like I said, one of the biggest bargains in the history of the Premier League. Remember, this is a guy that speaks like 4 or 5 languages. He is an absolute leader, and it's that leadership quality. That's why I have Kompany ahead of Yaya Touré, because of crucial moments. Yes, obviously, we could talk about that Leicester City goal, one of the best goals I've ever seen in my life. He's had some incredible performances against Liverpool, against Tottenham, and I obviously remember his goal against Manchester United. Vincent Kompany has been there since day one. He was one of basically the founding fathers of our modern-day dominance. At number 4, we have the current Ballon d'Or winner, the best player in the world practically in the last 2 years, Rodri, who has quickly become the anchor of Manchester City's midfield, combining physicality, intelligence, and technical ability to dominate games left, right, and center. One of the most consistent players the Premier League has ever seen. Since joining the club, he's been pivotal in Pep Guardiola's system, controlling the tempo, breaking up opposition play, and contributing with key goals. None more important than his match winner in the 2023 Champions League final. Calm under pressure and always reliable, Rodri has established himself as one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, embodying the grit and elegance of City's modern era. Man of the match in the final, man of the match in the Club World Cup final, man of the match in the Super Cup final, I believe. He has been there and done it every single big game. One of the most consistent football players we have ever seen in the Premier League. That was one of the most justified Ballon d'Or wins I had ever seen. Completely and utterly justified. Rodri gets 4th, in my opinion. He ranks very highly. At number 3, we have my childhood idol, my favorite player as a kid growing up, Sergio Kun Aguero. Not just a Manchester City legend, but a Premier League icon. The club's all-time leading goal scorer, Aguero's clinical finishing, lightning-quick movement, and knack for scoring in big moments made him one of the most feared strikers in the world. His unforgettable last-gasp goal against QPR to secure the 2012 title remains one of the most iconic moments in football history. Over his decade at Manchester City, Sergio Aguero won 5 Premier League titles and etched his name into the hearts of fans as the man who changed City's fortunes forever. Number 3, it might be a little bit unpopular, but I am taking my bias out of this because he was my childhood idol, my favorite player as a child growing up. Sergio Kun Aguero, I don't really need to give you reasons why. I don't need to tell you which moments I considered. I don't need to tell you the accolades. I don't need to show you the goal-to-game ratio. You all know the drill. Sergio Aguero is in the conversation for making an all-time Premier League 11. If you consider Henry as a striker, then maybe Aguero can come second. When you got players like Van Dijk telling the world that you're one of the toughest opponents he's ever faced. When you got players like Rudiger, an absolutely world-class center half, one of the best center halves in the last 10 years, telling the world that his toughest opponent was Sergio Aguero, you know that you are a bad man. The near post finishing machine, he was absolutely brilliant, and I watched him right before my games. I memorized his movements. I specialized in diagonal runs and hold-up play and shooting it from impossible angles growing up as a kid because of this guy. He is third on my list. At number 2, he is, in my opinion, the most underrated midfielder in Premier League history. David Silva, affectionately known as El Mago by Manchester City fans, is a true legend of the game. His silky touch, unmatched vision, and ability to dictate the tempo of a game made him one of the Premier League's finest midfielders. Over a decade at City, David Silva was a creative spark behind their rise to dominance, helping secure 4 Premier League titles and countless other trophies. His elegance and intelligence on the ball left defenders bewildered and fans mesmerized, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest players to ever wear the sky blue shirt. He is literally, in my opinion, the most underrated midfielder or player in Premier League history. I will never forget, and every single true City fan will never forget, what happened to him in the 2017-2018 season. I'm not going to repeat it, but what I am going to say is, with so much uncertainty in his personal life, David Silva still came on with a smile on his face, with determination in his boots, with magic in those boots, every single game, an absolute magician, one of the greatest Premier League players of all time. And at number 1, we have Kevin De Bruyne, Prince Harry, the heartbeat of Manchester City's midfield and arguably one of the greatest playmakers we have ever seen play football. Known for his incredible vision, pinpoint passing, and ability to deliver in clutch moments, Kevin De Bruyne has been instrumental in City's dominance in domestic and European tides. With countless assists, stunning goals, and multiple Premier League titles under his belt, he embodies class, consistency, and creativity on the pitch. Whether it's threading a pass through impossible spaces or unleashing a thunderous strike, Kevin De Bruyne is a game changer in every sense possible. The best player in Manchester City's history, in my opinion. I think he edges Colin Bell, in my opinion. I think he edges Sergio Aguero. I think he edges David Silva. Shout out to Tommy Johnson. Shout out to Mike Summerby. Shout out to Lee. Shout out to all these amazing players that had done so much for our club. Frank Swift, Bert Trotman, Paul Power, Brooke, all these sensational players. Kevin De Bruyne is the greatest player in Manchester City's history. He is undoubtedly the greatest midfielder the Premier League has ever seen. And he's in the conversation for the greatest player. If he had played for either Barcelona or Real Madrid, he would already be crowned the greatest midfielder of the 21st century, undoubtedly. I have seen better goals from Kevin De Bruyne with his weak foot than Kaká, Iniesta, Xavi with their strong foots. I'm not saying De Bruyne ranks higher than all of those players. I'm just saying De Bruyne is one of the best passers we have ever seen in football history. But his shooting ability is also one of the best we've ever seen from a midfielder ever. Risking his hamstring his entire career to play those games against Arsenal, we will never forget that. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments down below what you thought. Let me know if you think I snubbed a player. Let me know if you think some players didn't deserve to be in the top 10. And yeah, Pep Guardiola extension, Tottenham game this Saturday, Rodri with his Ballon d'Or, City documentary coming up, players coming back from injury, starting to see a bit of light in this dark tunnel. There's a lot more content to come. I cannot wait to see you guys again for that game. Thank you all so much for watching.